Please rate this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon, and become a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net.
Yes, indeed. It's Ringside Report MMA tonight on the show. Fallout from UFC 312. We'll preview UFC Vegas this weekend. Cannonier versus RoboCop. And is Islam Makhachev and Ilya Topuria close to getting finalized? We'll get to it.
Let's go!
Oh, boy. AJ.
Hey, what's up, amigo? ¿Cómo estás?
Hey.
What's happening, Bacon?
Bacon.
What's shaking, Bacon?
Yeah.
I can't believe we're on. I thought we were going to be definitely canceled tonight because of the snowstorm. I was like, we're going to have all kinds of internet problems. That was a lot of snow that came down, dude.
Yes.
I wasn't happy today.
No? Why not?
No, man, I got stuck. I got I pulled out a wheelie out of my parking lot at work. They were freaking out. I'm surprised I didn't hit both walls.
You had to work
the
today?
way I went out. Yeah, man, I had to go to work.
Wow, that sucks.
I
didn't have to
what
work.
happens when you're at the bottom of the food chain?
I didn't. We had a snow day.
What?
No work.
Oh, yeah, but we see we're essential service, so we have no choice.
I got paid to stay home today. It was dope.
Listen, you know what's interesting? Most people didn't know during COVID, I know we're going back to the COVID thing, that swimming pools here in Montreal were considered an essential service.
Mm-hmm.
Gyms were closed. Everything was closed, but pools were allowed to stay open. So I got stuck. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, everything was shut down. So
the whole school was closed. Wow.
Yeah, the whole campus.
So me and Dave
pretty
pretty much do we're kind of in the same industry outside of Ringside Report.
Well, we don't talk about these things, AJ. We don't talk about the shoot world. We don't talk about the shoot jobs on this show. We don't want to go into that. We don't want to mix things up.
I mean, we could. It's still part of the world of sports, man.
I guess.
We're deep down and involved,
Let's just say that in my old world where I worked, in radio, you would definitely have to go to work and it would be a headache of a job. And in the new world that I'm in now, in the public sector, I got a snow day off and I got paid to stay home, which is crazy.
Damn, that's good, man. Isn't that great, man? That's why you look so rested,
Oh, I slept so
Angry
much
Bird
today.
Dave.
I'm a little sick too, so I kind of was able to take advantage and just kind of sleep. It was great.
Awesome,
really
dude.
Good.
Well, look, I'm back at work tomorrow. That's for sure, But
yeah,
we'll see, man, because the next 3 days are going to be heavy.
I don't feel.
Oh, by the way, I saw Muscles Marco. He says hi. Mark, Muscles is always working when it snows.
Johnny North says rough life. Yeah, sorry,
job.
Johnny. What can I say, man? I got a decent gig, man. I got a good setup. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
It is, man.
Listen,
I got some big news, man.
A lot of perks.
Yeah, so get me a sweatshirt from there. That's what I've been asking for the longest time.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Technically, I graduated from there.
I work for a school, and I get more merch. I've got more merch from them than I ever did in all my years in the radio business, which is so backwards. It's so crazy.
It doesn't make sense, man.
No, it doesn't make sense. That's why the whole time working in radio, you're like, what the hell are we doing here, guys? And that's kind of why it is where it is right now. Not relevant.
Mind you, they gave free coffee. That was the big perk at.
They did have free coffee. That was nice.
Yeah,
I do have to buy.
And every once in a while, I would sneak into the fridge and eat someone's prosciutto.
Yeah.
I won't mention the name. Hockey. Angelo knows who I'm talking about. And
anyways,
smoked meat.
We're here to talk about MMA tonight. I want to talk a bit about Sean Strickland.
Remind me.
What?
Remind me to tell you some big news. I did something big this week. Well, actually, yeah. Last week, and it came this week. Just remind me at the end of the show.
Okay, I'm going to take a note. Okay, AJ's big news, and this better be big.
Oh, it's good, dude.
Okay?
It's good, man.
Took a note. So it's on the agenda for the show. I want to talk about Sean Strickland and the loss that he suffered last weekend. It was interesting. Not really the fight, but just the way everybody's reacted to it since. Even his own coach went on Ariel Helwani's show and kind of was like, oh, if he's going to fight like that, I'm not interested. And I'm interested in coaching champions. If he just wants to go and make money, that's fine, but I'm not. And Strickland went and he responded and was like, well, that guy, Eric Nixick, he's my friend. I still like him. Got nothing against him. He's probably not going to be in my corner again, but, it's like, okay. Strickland seemed to say he came into the fight hurt. Maybe a broken arm or something broken in his arm. Some kind of injury. It wasn't a great performance. Did look like it wasn't a great performance from Strickland. He obviously came up on the losing end, but I'm surprised at the reaction. I'm surprised his coach went out. I mean, let's just talk about that. What do you think about a coach going out in public on a podcast and kind of talking negatively about their fighter's performance from a few days prior?
Good, man.
I don't love it. I don't love the move by Eric Nixick to go out and say that stuff. If he felt it, he felt it, but you got to air him out in public? That's rough as a coach.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah. How would you feel, man, if you got ratted out by your coach? Let's be honest. It's not like Strickland has a
Forget how Strickland feels, whatever. I mean, Nixick obviously doesn't care how he feels because he's willing to say these things. What about if you're a teammate of Sean Strickland's? Man. What if you're another pupil of Eric Nixick, knowing that if you don't have the best fight, if you come in hurt, if you're outmatched by a guy and you don't deliver the performance that Eric wants, he's going to go on Helwani's show in front of the world and talk about how, you don't want to be a champion and you're just in it for the money. And maybe that's the case with Sean Strickland. Maybe it is. But I doubt he would take championship fights if he didn't want to be a champion. Did he push it all the way and have a knockdown, drag-out fight? No. Did he deliver on his to the death, all that stuff? No. But fighters rarely do in high-level competition. It's a huge risk. How many world title fights was Eric Nixick ever in? Any?
Yeah, true.
What? You know what I mean? I don't know. I give the guy the benefit of the doubt in a world championship fight. You come off, you have a flat performance, it happens. Dricus is better. How about Dricus is better? The better man won. Not Sean
Strickland said that.
Sucked. Sean fought how Sean fights. Dricus fought better. Dricus was better. Is better. Tougher. Stronger. Better. That's all. I think Strickland has been gun-shy since he got knocked out by Alex Pereira. Pereira ran through him and then became basically his daddy. Strickland's like, he beat the shit out of me, and now I'm going to train with him, and I'm going to learn his ways, and I'm going to suck up to him. And I mean, if you hear the way Sean Strickland talks about Alex Pereira, this guy, he's going to kill this guy. Alex, man, when he hits you, Talks about Alex Pereira like he is God's gift of fighting, which, maybe is. He's pretty damn good.
Much.
But Strickland kind of mentally became Pereira's son after that fight. He did. In a fighting sense, Strickland didn't go, I'm going to go find some other kickboxer and get better than that guy and come back and whoop that guy's ass. He goes, I'm going to train with that guy now. Which is fine, which is admirable as a martial artist. Very cool as a sportsman. I don't disrespect the move, but as a competitor, you kind of go, ooh, okay. Did I just lose AJ? Hey, Jay. So after the Pereira fight, I think Sean Strickland got a little gun shy. I think Strickland got knocked out by Pereira, got totally knocked out, like unconscious, smoked. AJ's back. We lost you for a second there, boy.
I know what the hell happened there.
I don't know. It's okay.
Okay, keep going. Keep going. You were talking. I'm back.
I think your connection's a little weak. You got a little issue.
What?
It's okay. So far, you're good with me. Strickland, when did he get knocked out by Pereira? 2022. Okay? Then he fought. He had a split decision with Jared Cannonier. He lost. Okay? Came out a little flat there. Lost to Cannonier. Then he beat Nasruddin Imavov by decision. Then he beat the hell out of Abu Sufyan Magomedov, who we never heard from again. Knocked him out, but okay, whatever. And then he had the Adesanya fight, and he was able to just, fight his fight, do his style in Adesanya, and Adesanya came out really flat. By the way, Adesanya, that was the first of a 3-fight losing streak for him, so who knows where he was at. And then Strickland had that close fight with Dricus, lost to Dricus. Had a split decision win over Paulo Costa where he really didn't do much but teep and jab. And Costa just didn't have an answer for it. But it was very simple. It wasn't very impressive. And then he just has the fight with Dricus this past weekend. But if you look at all the fights that he's had since 2022, none of them have been balls to the wall. None of them have been to the death. He's never fought like this.
There was something off, Dave. Let's be honest. Like when Strickland came in, so. I think the shattering of the nose was enough to he had a hard time. He couldn't breathe. It definitely took the spirit out of him.
Sure, but that was in round 4. I don't like
that
was round 4.
That was in round 4, but leading up to round 4, he wasn't as engaging as I expected him to be. I mean, I understand that he was trying to calculate maybe a little bit differently than the first time they fought. But listen, through this fight, he was 5-0, It didn't even come close to the first fight. But something was off with Strickland. Strickland, at least he's man enough to say that, Du Plessis is a bad MFer, and he got his ass kicked fair and square.
Yeah, that's all it is. Oh, here we go. He's frozen again. AJ's connection's bad. Bad night for AJ to be frozen. Come on, AJ.
You got
AJ,
me.
you're freezing all over the place, man. Your connection.
I'm telling you, it's that snowstorm, man.
I hope not. I don't know. But look, I think you got to give credit to Dricus. You got to give the credit to Dricus for just being better. The fight went as I expected the fight to go. We said to you last week when we were previewing this thing, I said Dricus is going to have the fight with Strickland, and it's not going to be as close as it was the last time. He's going to be way further ahead. And he was.
Yeah, you're right. He was.
And, Strickland got his nose broken in the 4th round. And from that point on, he had nothing. The championship rounds really stand out because Strickland was done. But you try fighting 25 minutes against Dricus Du Plessis, and the last 10 minutes of that 25, you have a broken nose, and he's really putting it on you. Like, what do you want him to do? What do you want him to do? I don't blame Sean Strickland. It's weird that I'm defending him, but I don't blame him. A lot of people are getting on him for the performance. I think it's because of all the trash talk, but it seems like the MMA world, all of the Sean Strickland fans have really turned on the guy, and I kind of feel bad for him because he just did what he always does. He didn't do anything different. He didn't come out not trying. He just, was outmatched by a better fighter, which happens all the time. The fight played out exactly the way I expected it to. It played out very similar to the last one, except this time Dricus was further ahead because Dricus made adjustments, improved, came out much better than he was last time because Dricus is still evolving as a mixed martial artist, and Strickland seems to have plateaued. And that's fine. Everybody reaches a peak. Strickland is who he is. Dricus is who he is.
Yeah, two different worlds. But let's give some credit, like, to Strickland. Like when the first couple of rounds, man, his jabbing was on par. Like he was like in there, he was like focused,
Yeah.
he was throwing that jab. It wasn't like Strickland that we haven't seen. He was fighting his game. It's just that he got overwhelmed, like as he got into the latter rounds. And when he got his nose like knocked out, his nose, listen, people could say what they want, but when you have a broken nose like Strickland had, most people would have already stepped out of that fight.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fighter or non-fighter for sure.
Yep.
But the thing is that Strickland still pushed through when he could not breathe and probably could not see. Yeah. And you know what? I got to give him a lot of credit. But Du Plessis is at a different level. And you're right, Dave. This guy is like, he's just getting into his peak. He's not even at his peak yet. And that's how scary this is. And you're right about Strickland. Strickland is a great fighter. He was there at one point, but he's going to be the type of guy that we're going to see as a gatekeeper in the future. And you know what? I tip my hat to him.
Yeah.
He's an exciting fighter. Like this wasn't like the fight that most people wanted to see, but Strickland was doing what he does best, man. His jab was there, but he couldn't penetrate. And you know what? It is what it is. The better fighter won by far, 5 rounds, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do it all.
The guy is a 29-7 fighter. People want him to fight like he's 29-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's not one of these elite outliers that are just extremely rare. He became champion. He had a great fight against Adesanya. Everything kind of fell his way. The fact that he reached the top and became champion is the achievement in itself. Like he reached the mountain.
It is, man.
Good for him. He went further in the game than I think most expected him to when we first saw him fighting in the UFC.
But he's no chump change. I mean, like Du Plessis couldn't take him out. That's something that has to be recognized as well.
Okay, how about this? Khamzat is next for Dricus. Who are you picking? Because I think Dricus showed a lot on Saturday. And Khamzat, looked great against Whitaker, but can he do that to Dricus? I'm not sure. Man. I'm really not sure. I think it might be some recency bias here, but I might be leaning towards Dricus. He looks so sharp. Every aspect of the game. Not really tested with takedowns. I would have liked to have seen Strickland mix it up a little bit with some wrestling. Offered no
it's
wrestling.
Not like he's not capable. He has great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu.
He never uses it.
But he didn't use it.
It's stupid. I don't like that. If you have it, supposedly, why not use it? But Khamzat's going to use it. Khamzat's going to try and take Dricus down and choke him real quick. The question is, can he do it? Like, that's really the question. Dricus knows, like, what Khamzat's looking for. I don't know if Khamzat's big and strong enough to do it to Dricus. Dricus is big, man. That's really the issue. I think size and strength. Size, strength, athleticism, and freak strength, too. Dricus is weird strong. Dricus looks dead tired, and then he'll come and hit you with a punch that knocks your face off. Like, Dricus is weird strong. Khamzat is very sharp. His grip strength is nasty. He's also very strong. Khamzat gets a hold of you, it's like a snake, he's going to be wrapping around you and just... Khamzat is, his takedown efficiency, the squeeze that he's got. If Khamzat puts you in a dangerous position, he's going to finish you. You got to avoid those dangerous positions. Don't let him take your back. I mean, we know that. Do not let that man take your back. He'll squeeze your face off.
You don't want him to get to that point.
Like, I just don't know if he gets there with Dricus. He got there with Whitaker. Whitaker is kind of a small middleweight. Dricus is not small. Whitaker, I think, could probably fight at 170. I'm pretty sure he has fought at 170. I don't see Dricus fighting at 170. I'd see if Dricus fighting at another weight class, it'd be 205. So, Khamzat has fought at 170. Dricus is so big. I don't think he can ragdoll Dricus like he has Kevin Holland and,
Well, his takedown defense is at 46% for Khamzat. And the only guy he's never taken down, he's taken down every opponent he's fought. Everybody. The only guy he didn't take down was Gerald Mershard, who was like KO'd in like 17 seconds. Yeah. Other than that, everybody's going down. And the thing with Khamzat is that his grappling skills, is phenomenal. It's through the roof. So Dricus has to be very defensive. And if it gets down to the ground, it's going to, you know what? That's where I'm going to start changing my perspective. I really think that Khamzat is able to, really make it a difficult night for Dricus. Yeah. So Dricus, all he has to do is just like, be 100% like takedown defense, and he's going to win that fight.
Sprawl and brawl.
Anything less than that, he's going to have a hard time.
Sprawl and brawl. You got to make this
sprawl and
just
brawl.
A mean, ugly Dricus fight where you're just hitting him. You're hitting him from weird angles, and you're knocking him out. I think you got to put Khamzat away because he's going to keep coming at you. And in a 5-round fight, you don't want this guy to continue to have a chance. Because if he takes you down... But again, like, I think Dricus, athletically, cardio-wise, has a big advantage on Khamzat. You push the pace. You push the pace. You put Khamzat on his back foot. You know how hard it is to shoot for a takedown on your back foot? It's basically impossible. You know what I mean? It's not easy to take somebody down while you're moving backwards. So Dricus needs to go forward. Push forward at Khamzat. Punches in bunches. Go forward. Throw combos. Hit him as much as you can. Hit him, hurt him, tire him out. Do not clinch. Do not clinch. Do not get too close. Do not ever let him start moving forward. Play this for Dricus. Listen to me, Dricus. Move forward on this motherfucker. Always moving forward. Put him on his back foot the whole time. Never take the pedal off the fucking gas because you can outgas him. He gets tired in round 3. You don't get tired in round 5, Dricus. Put pressure. Non-stop pressure on him. He wants to put pressure on you. Fuck that. Put pressure on him. Go forward. Knock his ass into the ground.
You're right,
That's
bud.
how you beat this motherfucker, man. I want to see Dricus beat him. I really do. I think there's a path to beating him. I think Dricus is the man to do it, and I think a lot of people are going to be surprised if he does. I think Khamzat's going to come in as a big favorite. He is got a lot of hype behind him. People don't believe in Dricus still for some reason. But Dricus is a bad man and only getting better. Don't sleep on Dricus Du Plessis. The guy is not done. He's not done with this run as middleweight champion. Bring on Khamzat. That's the fight, man. That's a money fight.
That's a money fight big time. I want to see that because that could be like anyone's fight. And I agree with you totally. The thing is that like even Din Thomas said the same thing. He goes like, Khamzat is like a sprinter. He comes at you at that first round and he's going to take that first round. And that's where the mind game comes in. If Dricus, loses that first round, he's just got to like, forget it. I'm going to get him in the long run. Because when you look at Usman and Gilbert Burns fights, after the first round, Khamzat, man, he wins it, but he starts to slow down. And what we saw with Strickland is kind of like a rockhead that I usually call these fighters.
Yeah.
They go the distance. You can't kill them. They just keep coming back like a zombie. And that's the thing with Dricus. If Dricus is able to, say he loses that first round because the sprinter's coming, and able to get that mindset to say, okay, fuck that. I'm going to start working second, third, fourth, fifth. But if Khamzat gets an upper hand in the second, he wants to finish this fight early. You know what I mean? To go the distance, and I agree with you. That's where Dricus at this point has the edge, it all comes down to the fight time and the conditioning and all that. But if you look statistically, Dricus has that cardio edge, and he's obviously a solid fighter that can go up against rockheads, But again, if Khamzat gets what he likes to do, get that first round and start to overwhelm in the second and start taking the ground game, it's going to be a hard night for Dricus.
I mean,
he can conserve his energy on the ground, right?
Down. If Khamzat takes him down, finds a way to get to his back, it could be a wrap real quick. He's shown he's got the ability to just finish you with the quickness. He's efficient. He's not trying to be in there for a long time. He doesn't want a 5-round fight. I don't think he's got the gas tank for a 5-round fight. And he doesn't really save any gas for the 5 rounds. He goes 100% from go. And then he runs out of gas by round 2, 3. That's not a good look in a championship fight. I think he's going to be in trouble. I like Dricus in that fight. That's going to be a good fight. I see somebody in our chat called Technique says Alex Pereira will knock Ankalaev out. I disagree. I've got Ankalaev by submission.
No, I think he's right, man. I'm going with Pereira to knock him out. I think that's exactly... Look, it's going to be a tough one, but Alex Pereira, man.
Oh,
Shama, Technique, man.
Hooray.
I kind of agree with you.
Hooray.
It'll be an awesome fight to see, but I think Shama's gonna make some damage, man. But
UFC
again,
313, March 8th, Pereira versus Ankalaev. Finally. Let's go.
But it's not on a Friday, man. Friday the 13th. Shama style.
Shama style. A lot of fight
Let's get some t-shirts with Shama.
Then.
There's a lot of fights, man. We got a
fight nights
coming up this Saturday, not the,
This Saturday we've got Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. The RoboCop.
The
RoboCop, AJ.
Yeah,
it's a fun fight. It's a fun middleweight fight.
It should be a good
fight. I like
the
RoboCop.
And Cannonier is always exciting.
RoboCop is only 32 years old. He looks about 45.
What?
What's the deal? Doesn't he look old?
Yeah.
He looks really old. He's only 32. Cannonier is 40, so he's actually legit age.
Yeah, he's going to be 41 soon.
Mm-hmm.
But let me take a look at that.
Cannonier's lost 2 in a row now. What?
Yeah, but I think he's the favorite coming into this fight.
The Cannon.
The Cannon?
Is he?
I mean, with the wealth of experience that he has, man.
Let me see. Jared Cannonier versus Gregory, the RoboCop Rodrigues. RoboCop minus 230, the favorite. Cannonier plus 175, the dog, AJ. Cannonier, the dog. Not surprised.
But look at the guys he's fought.
And my parlay won last weekend, and so did Fred's,
You did?
by the way.
Congratulations.
Okay. We had the underdog champion, Zhang Wei Li, defending and retaining, which she did.
Right, lost.
She dominated Suarez, just smoked her.
I was hoping for a lot more, to be honest, because the ground game was she had it all. She had that ground game. She had the wrestling game. She had everything to be able to submit Wei Li. But Wei Li, did it again. Oops, She did it again. Damn it. They killed my parlay.
Yeah, your parlay died, but mine won because I had Wei Li and Dricus. So that worked out for us.
Damn Wei Li. So back to Jared, man.
This?
If you look at the
Antoinette
wins,
saying,
what's happening, Antoinette?
I don't know. Johnny said that they played Kendrick in Montreal at some sort of hockey game, and then Antoinette saying
it's the
Montreal
USA that's playing.
is late to the Kendrick party. What does that mean? Montreal's late to the Kendrick party? I think Toronto is the target of the Kendrick party there, Antoinette.
Oh, because of Drake. Isn't there a beef with
yeah, of course,
Kendrick and Jake and that kind of stuff?
A beef with Drake?
Listen,
is
man,
there
I'm
a beef
not
with
into
Drake and Kendrick? I don't know, John, AJ. What do you think?
Is there?
We haven't been paying attention to anything going on. Holy shit!
He's not that tall. I thought he was taller. Kendrick.
We'll talk about Kendrick and his Super Bowl performance and what AJ thought about it. And then I'll tell you what I thought about it a little bit later on. But I want to stick with Cannonier right now. Cannonier, he's a strong guy, heavy hitter. So is RoboCop. I think this will be a really fun fight. But I've got RoboCop. I just think, the youth, the power.
The looks.
The looks. He's got it. I got, and
got it
also,
all, except for the hair.
Cannonier's on a losing streak. RoboCop has won 3 in a row. RoboCop is looking good. RoboCop has won 5 of his last 6 in the UFC. I like RoboCop.
You know what? But that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you look at who's fought who, when you look at Jared, man, the wins that he's had, he's beaten Marvin Vittori, Sean Strickland, Derek Brunson, Kevin Gastelum, Anderson Silva,
Wow.
And if you look at his
which version?
Well, yeah, version part 2. I agree with you.
Version
on
3, I think, or 4.
Yeah, maybe version 3, man.
Come on.
The break. But when you look at Cannonier, he's been in a main event 7 times in 8 events. So this guy's coming and he's gonna deliver, and he always does. He's a physical specimen, man. This guy he's impressive. But he's hitting 41 years old, man. There's a lot of wear and tear in the middleweight division. Unlike the heavyweight division that I always say, middleweight, and down, the body takes a beating, man. You might be, how old is he now? He's 41, coming into 41. That's a long time, man. And RoboCop, he's pretty impressive, young, hungry, and it's a big name to have under your belt if you beat Jared, right?
Yeah.
And where does Jared go from here? That's the problem.
It. I mean, come on, man. When you're 40, 41 years old, where are you supposed to go in your MMA career? You know where you're supposed to go? Away. It's enough.
Yeah. It's it's a nice fight night main event card, but it's not like both of these guys are going to be champions in that division,
No, it's a fun little middleweight fight, but it's not anything earth-shattering in the middleweight division. It's a big win for RoboCop if he gets it. If he doesn't, it's a big win for Cannonier to kind of stay relevant. Cannonier needs it to stay relevant and to stay active as one of the top middleweights in the UFC, still main eventing fight nights or whatever. And RoboCop needs it to move up in the division. He's 32. Cannonier's a former title contender. You just heard the list of guys that he's beat. It's a big fight for RoboCop. He needs it to move up in the division. Does he get it? I think so, but Cannonier is definitely capable and more experienced. So I think it's an interesting fight. I don't think it's a slam dunk for the RoboCop whatsoever.
Look, but the RoboCop is not even on the top 15, and the thing is that Jared, he could probably beat guys outside of the top 10, but within that, the top 10, it's not happening. So is it possible? Yeah, he could beat him. He's not even in top 15, RoboCop, but
he could
there.
Definitely beat him. I think Cannonier could definitely win the fight. I just feel like at this stage of the career, maybe not. That's all.
You look, and this is his first time fighting in 5 rounds, not being on the top 15, which is pretty it says something about the matchmaker.
It's a big step up for RoboCop. It's very big.
Yeah,
I mean, so parlay for this card, AJ. There's not a lot of, it's not a great fight night.
I mean, what else? Who else is there? There's Calvin
Cater
against
and Yusuf Zalal is the co-main event.
Yeah, Zalal is he's a big favorite. This guy,
Yeah. Are you convinced? Cater's lost 3 in a row.
Yep.
But to some pretty good fighters. This is another step up in competition here. This is another fight where it's like, okay, Zalal's on a win streak. Zalal is the younger fighter. He's 28 years old. Cater's 36. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. But Cater lost his last fight in a 3-round decision to Aljamain Sterling. Cater's fighting some of the best in the division. He's got wins over Dan Ige, Jeremy Stevens, Giga Chikadze. Cater's fought some good guys. Yusuf Zalal has fought, nobody. He lost to Ilya Topuria in 2020, but other than that, no big names really on his record. Nevertheless, he's won 5 in a row, including 3 straight in the UFC, all by submission.
Yeah. He's solid, man.
Yep. But this is a big step up for him against Kattar. This is a very similar...
Kattar doesn't lose often by finish. That's the problem.
The matchmaking here, very similar to the main event. You get a guy kind of top 15-ish in that realm, taking on a guy who's been in the upper echelons of the division for a while, kind of a gatekeeper. Kattar kind of a gatekeeper at featherweight, Cannonier kind of a gatekeeper at middleweight, and here we have Zalal and Rodrigues kind of looking to make their way right into the top spots. Do they do it? I'm going to say RoboCop does, but Zalal does not. In a 3-round fight, I think it's going to be tough. I think Kattar outpoints him and wins a decision. Kattar survives.
It's a tough one, man, because, Zalal is a heavy favorite. And when you see him, in his last fight, he's walked away with, post-fight bonuses. So he comes and he delivers. But when you look at his key wins that he's had, Jack Shore, Billy Quarantillo. But when you look at, Kattar, he's beat, Chikadis. He's beat Dan Ige, Jeremy Stevens, Ricardo Lamas, Andre Touchy-Feely. So these are all big names, but, he's 23-8 and 7-6 in the UFC. I don't know, man, it's a tough one. But this Yusuf Zalal, man, impressive coming in, He's on a skid. He's on a streak, not on a skid. But, with 6 stoppages in 6 fights, including 3 chokes, it's going to, I'm looking more and more towards Zalal.
Okay. Well, I'm going the other way. It's the Team Dave parlay, and I'm going with...
Let's do it.
I'm going with Calvin Kattar and RoboCop. 20 gets you 129.13 over at bet99.com. That's a hell of a parlay. Come on. AJ, you got to love it. Look at the payout. Tremendous.
It's beautiful. Yeah, that's fantastic, man. If it pays out, it's nice.
RoboCop. Team Dave.
You just need 2, man.
What do you got?
Okay, man. So let me get my guys up here.
Come on.
So I'm going to go with RoboCop. I think he's going to end up TKOing in that fight. I'm going to go with Zalal. I think it's going to go to distance. It's probably going to be a decision. And then I'm going to go with Shabazian, the Armenian.
Edmund, yeah.
Shabazian.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then I'm going to probably end it with Bonfim. I'm going to leave it with Bonfim.
Which
Actually,
one?
You know what?
There's 2 Bonfims on this one.
You know
Ismael and Gabriel are both fighting the Bonfim boys.
You know what?
You're going with Ismael and Gabriel? Double Bonfims?
No. I apologize. I just saw my notes there, and I was going with Bonfim, and I pulled out, and I'm going to be going with Nassim. Just because he enters the UFC with 3-0-1, he's 9-1-1 in total. He's looking good. I'm going to go with Nazim on this.
All right.
Sadikov.
There you
That's
go.
my parlay, man.
That's the AJ parlay. It's Yusuf Zalal. It's Gregory Rodrigues. It's Edmund Shabazian. It's Nazim Sadikov. 20 gets you 115.59 over at bet99.com. How about
Not that great of a payout compared to yours, but...
yours, you need 4 fights to come through, but I've got a big underdog in Calvin Kattar. I'm good with that.
I mean, it's possible. That could go either or, right? So, you can't dismiss Kattar. I mean, he's there for a reason, and the amount of fights that he's had with really, really tough opponents,
exactly.
He could do it.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it mind you.
AJ, there's been a lot of buzz about Islam Makhachev, and apparently there's a big fight that's being negotiated. There's also talk about Ilia Topuria and a big fight for him, and people are putting two and two together and making 4 and trying to figure out maybe if we're going to get that fight, which would be pretty nice.
Are you saying
the featherweight champion moving up to fight the lightweight champion? Come on. What?
Are you talking Montreal, bud? Are you talking like a Montreal card?
No, I'm just saying in the future that would be a fight that is being talked about. Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria. I mean, maybe it would be on the Montreal card. Who knows? But I think there's a rumor that the Montreal card will get Bilal and Shavkat.
That'd be amazing, dude.
Yes, it would be. But Islam, we look at the potential challengers. Sarukian is still out there, but the UFC seemed to want to pivot away from him and go with somebody else. And Topuria is talking a lot about moving up to 155. He doesn't seem too interested in staying at featherweight and fighting Volkanovski again. It seems kind of pointless. He's talking about Gaethje and Poirier and Islam as potential next fights. I say, why not just go for the big one? Go big or go home. Islam Makhachev, Ilia Topuria. Topuria right now seems absolutely unbeatable. The same can be said for Islam. These guys seem invincible in MMA. They seem unstoppable. It is the biggest fight you could make for either guy.
Yeah, it would be insane.
It's massive. I don't think you could find a bigger name opponent for Ilia, and I don't know if you could find a bigger name opponent for Islam that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, Conor McGregor would be a bigger name for Islam, but that doesn't make sense.
I mean, it could happen. Anything's possible.
It could happen if they just want to make money and they say, fuck it. But
welcome, Sharky.
Welcome, Sharky. Thanks for the gifted membership there, Antoinette.
Way to go, Antoinette. Antoinette's always there. Antoinette.
Listen, man, that's the fight to make. Would you put Ilia in like a tester fight against a Poirier or a Gaethje before, or would you just go throw him in there against Islam and see what happens?
Throw them in, man. You don't want to lose any hype. Yeah. Any bad fight that can it'll just end like all the hype, Yeah. This is a money fight. Don't mess around with money fights. Yeah. You make sure that it happens somewhere big, and it has to happen in the country of one of the fighters. And chances are it'll happen in Spain. And they've been talking about I don't think it's going to happen in Dagestan, dude. But it could. That would be insane. Imagine a fight in Dagestan.
The amount of fighters they have from Dagestan, the fact that they've never talked about doing a fight anywhere near there is weird.
No, but you know what? Dana White should look into maybe a fight night over there, because it would be completely insane,
Fight night, UFC Dagestan. It would be nuts.
Yeah, I don't think you want to bring Strickland over there or something like to trash talk too much,
Yeah, bring
But
Conor
the thing is that Conor, I don't think Conor would come back.
No.
Yeah. But the thing is that I can see this fight happening in Spain. They've been talking about Spain. They want to fill out one of those soccer stadiums of like 80,000 people, which will happen. That's what you do. You get those two guys. You couldn't get a bigger fight card, than Islam and Topuria in Spain, 2025. Dana, let's get it done.
I'd love to see it.
Let's get it done, Dana.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, hopefully that's how you do it, man.
Hopefully we see the UFC announce that at some point, but there's definitely rumors going around about Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria. Okay, AJ, you told me you had big news.
What?
And I want to know what your big news is. AJ's big news.
Well, somebody already knows in our chat pretty much, but so me and like the internet and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, I don't know this and that. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go outside of the box. I'm gonna do something. So I went online and I ordered something, dude. I actually, tell me about it. You should. I was tracking that that package of mine, like from the day I made the order, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get ripped off for sure. And then I was tracking it from like courier to plane to freaking ship to courier, straight to my house. I was waiting at the door for it to arrive, dude, because I could see it tracking. And lo and behold, man, it did arrive, man. And, you know, am I allowed to say who I ordered from? Maybe they'll be a sponsor of ours. Like, this is my first, like, it's
what
like
did
Temu.
you order?
Shop like a billionaire.
I'm curious to know what you would order. Like, what made you go, okay, I have to get this. I've never done an online order, but I'm going to do it. I have to. What was it?
What? Well, look, it wasn't really because of what I wanted to order. I'm like, I got to do this, man. I got to break that fear of getting ripped off by, like, you know, I don't want to say China, but like most of it's coming from there. I'm like, they're going to screw me, man. I have a feeling like AJ's credit card is like going to be doomed. So I went on and I'm looking at, you know, shop like a billionaire kind of thing. And I'm like, you know what, man, let me see what I like. So then I saw isn't that like shop like a billionaire? Temu? If I'm not mistaken.
Temu.
I
don't know. I've never ordered from Temu. You ordered
Antoinette, help me out.
Temu?
Is it shop like a billionaire?
I don't know.
Man. Temu. But anyways, like Antoinette, like, you know, kind of knew, and she was like, oh, like I don't know if it's going to work out, but it did, man. It was fantastic. It all came on time. Everything was perfect. And I'm like, you know what? That was like, you know, I am not a virgin anymore online, man. I think I'm just going to go local and start buying everything. So I'm already looking at tracksuits now. So what I did is that I'm like, let me not go too crazy. Let me get like some
answer the question.
Crazy
what
item.
Did you get?
Yeah. So I bought a hair clipper. I got a hair clipper. That was my first item. Then I got like this credit card holder. And then I got this black shirt that says like Los Angeles. Like, you know, a Chicano from like, you know, from LA, man. So I got my Los Angeles shirt. I should have worn it tonight, man. Damn it, AJ, you forgot. I wore the Lakers tonight. So that's what I got, bud. Everything came on time. And I did my first purchase online. It wasn't easy, dude. You got to understand, for me to press send there was like, do I do it, AJ? And I was like, don't do it. And then I was like, do it. Don't do it. Do it. You could do it. I know, Dave. I got to film this. And I hit send by mistake, really, because I was going back and forth. And I went. And everything turned out fine, man. Shopping like a billionaire. I got a hair clipper.
Congratulations.
And it actually works. I used it right away, dude.
Welcome.
It was awesome. So I have a couple of more items that I'm going to look at now and see if they come in.
Well, I'm waiting to see if my items come in. I ordered many things from Yeezy.com, but then the site stopped having any items on. Like, I ordered some shorts and a jacket and some shoes and then some other shoes and then a pair of boots. And then the store stopped having any items available, and then they just had a white t-shirt with a swastika on it. That was the only item for sale. And then the site totally got shut down, which, you know, makes sense. So I don't know if my items will ever come. I assume that they will, though. Kanye's never ripped me off. So I assume he'll...
Are you sure?
He'll make good on his stuff. Yeah, he's always sent me the stuff. So there's my adventure this week in online shopping. I bought.
But dude, you gotta admit, aren't you a bit surprised with me, man? I was like holding it all week.
I bought boots from a website that seemed to only have a swastika T-shirt for sale, but then I found like a direct link where I could get just the boots, so it was cool. Yeah, Kanye's website was selling just a white T-shirt with a swastika on it, and I was like, this isn't cool. But then he had these boots that were really cool for $30, and I was like, $30? Send them my way, Kanye. So, I'm going to get those.
I don't know if I'd want to wear Kanye stuff right now. He's kind of like a little controversial.
I get a pass, I think, because I'm Jewish. I think I'm allowed.
I don't know if I'd want to wear that, dude, because most people think you're like some kind of like, you know, Third Reich guy then.
Yeah, I don't think that they think that. I mean, I could explain that I'm not. I just
shit. Yes, Antoinette, just... Dave, I forgot too, man. Antoinette I got a bag, man. Thank you, Antoinette. I appreciate it. I got a bag. I'm going to take the picture of it. And the bag is really cool. So I got a military bag. and it was like awesome. It's actually pretty good quality. Like, I can't wait to wear it. And like, yeah, that was my 4th item. So everything came in, lickety split,
Cool.
right at my door, man.
And Antoinette is helping you do this now? This is who you've enlisted? This is what's happening?
Nah, because what I tried to do is I tried to send a link to Antoinette to say, listen, if you click on it, I get a free like gift, you know? So I had to tell her in advance. I'm like, Antoinette, if you get something like, you know, from, Temu, it's me.
You're so weird.
Yeah, man, I had to. I wanted to get, listen, man, I went local on that stuff now. Now they're sending me like all kinds of emails and texts. Like, you know, AJ, come back. We got a free gift for you. And AJ, there's like 90% discount on this. And I'm like,
I've never ordered
enticing,
from
dude.
Temu, ever.
You got to shop like a billionaire, Dave.
I don't think that's how that works. Anyways, so Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl performance, I thought it was great.
What? That's right. The Eagles, man. That's what happens.
You didn't like it?
Mahomes. Look, I thought the game was like good.
Boring.
I thought Mahomes' like worst game of like the year had to be the Super Bowl. No, it wasn't boring, man. 2 interceptions. He threw a Hail Mary pass that kind of like made him saved his like credibility a bit. That was an amazing pass. Basically, it's like, let me throw it and please God let him catch it. Hail Mary, and it worked out. But no, the Eagles, man, were the better team. They smashed. Angelo, sorry I couldn't do a Super Bowl party this year, but next year we're gonna do something again. But that halftime performance, look, I like the music that you sent me by Kendrick Lamar, who I thought was a country singer. I thought those songs that you sent me were great, but he didn't play them, dude.
Yeah, he did.
No.
You just
there was no way those,
because you don't really know them.
I couldn't really understand what he was singing. He was like below, like, did he?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. If you're a fan of Kendrick, if you get it, you like it.
Didn't sound at all like that.
If you're not a fan of Kendrick and you're just watching football, you didn't like it. A lot of people that I know didn't like it, but they're not coming in as Kendrick fans to begin with. Johnny North says Hogan didn't understand Kendrick. Well, no shit, he didn't understand Kendrick. It's not for Hogan. And that's fine. And, you know, people are mad. Well, the Super Bowl halftime show should be for everybody. And why? Why? Why can't it just be a celebration of hip-hop? Because Kendrick was the first solo hip-hop artist to ever do the halftime show at the Super Bowl. 50 years of hip-hop. Thousands of artists. He's the first solo hip-hop artist to headline that show. The first. You think about all the rappers in the history of hip-hop. 50-plus years. He's the first. And you want to shit on it? Come on now. I think for hip-hop culture, that was a moment. Kendrick is having a massive moment for hip-hop culture, being crowned the king of all hip-hop right now. Completely taken over from Drake. Smacking him across the face and saying, no, the crown
think Drake
is
was watching?
mine, always has been Kendrick's, King Kendrick.
You think he was watching, bud? Like, if you were like Drake.
I doubt he was watching.
I'm sure he was,
too
but
painful.
Listen, man, for sure he was watching. I was thinking of that. I'm sure Drake was like in the corner and be like, please, Lord, let that Kendrick fall off stage. Please, Lord, let him like forget his like lyrics.
There is
Dear
no
Lord.
way. AJ, come on.
Sure, now. Drake was doing it, man.
When Kendrick is walking across the stage and he's looking, say, Drake, I hear you like him young. You think Drake wants to see that? When Kendrick's smiling? He's got the
well,
he's got the lowercase A chain, A minor.
I didn't know that.
Come on now. You think Drake wants to see that?
I would have never, dude. I wouldn't even know that was like what he was trying to imply.
No, you don't.
I was just
know.
like looking at that.
It's okay, AJ. You're not aware, but I'm telling you, for the people that are aware, for the people that do know, and it's a lot of people. And guess what? A lot of the people that are aware and that do know aren't watching football. So if you want them to watch the Super Bowl, you know what's a really good way to draw them in? Kendrick Lamar performing at the halftime show. If you want the most eyeballs on your stupid, boring football game, I'm not watching a football game. I watched because Kendrick was on. I'm not watching the Super Bowl. It's boring. I went to see K-Dot. So, okay, if you're there for the game, well, then Kendrick is not for you. Kendrick's for me. I don't want to watch the game. The game was over at halftime. And then when Kendrick performed, it was game over. I was like, yeah, it is over. See ya. Chicken wings were good. I'm out. This game is done.
Listen, Kendrick, man,
Kendrick killed it, okay? And if you don't like it, it wasn't for you. But for the people that it was for, which is me and millions of others, he was fantastic. He was amazing. He had a message. It was layered. Uncle Sam Jackson, there was so much there. And to do that in front of Donald Trump, it was a real moment for hip-hop, for hip-hop culture. It meant something. It was real artistic expression. And if you don't get it, if you're not into it, that's fine. It wasn't for you. But as somebody who appreciates the art that Kendrick puts out into the world, I can tell you that that was a miraculous performance that I have watched many times, and it means so much. It means so much. It means so much for hip-hop.
You're happy, dude.
Huh?
I'm glad you're happy, man.
Yeah.
I was looking at it. I'll be honest. I was like, I don't know none of those songs, and I'm trying to figure out which song that you sent me where I was like, yeah, I like them, and I couldn't pick it out. But I was like, yeah, it looked like artistically cool. But I was like, you know what? Someone asked me, MJ or this? I was like, sure. Michael Jackson all the way, man. Michael Jackson's Super Bowl was amazing, man.
That's your era. This is different era, okay? I'll put it to you this way, okay? Kendrick, when he, in his song, Turn the TV Off, right? He performed it. Yeah. He goes, mustard, right? He goes, ain't no other kings in this rap thing. They siblings. Nothing but my children. One shot, they disappear it. That line, word for word, is from Notorious B.I.G. Kick in the Door. That's a line that Christopher Wallace, Biggie Smalls, he wrote. Kendrick uses it as an homage, as a lot of rappers do. They take lines from other songs and they repurpose them for their song. So Kendrick, a West Coast artist who's got L.A. on his back, representing for the West Coast as hard as any rapper from the West Coast has ever represented for the West Coast. He's there on the Super Bowl, okay, as the first ever solo hip-hop artist reciting a Biggie Smalls line from New York, who was a victim of the East Coast, West Coast, whatever that was. And there's Kendrick in front of the world reciting a line that's in his song now that was written originally by Biggie Smalls when he was like 22 years old in Brooklyn. And now it's there on that big stage. That means something for hip-hop. That should mean something for Biggie's kids. That should mean something for all the artists that came before Kendrick, because he's paying respect. He knows where it comes from. To me, that means a lot. And I think to a lot of people, that means a lot. So
this shit is deep.
It's very deep, man. And when you appreciate it, when you have that type of appreciation and that type of knowledge and that type of appreciation for the history, like I do, like a lot of people do, like Kendrick obviously does, it means something. So it's cool if you're not into it, but just know that what he did was important for a lot of people, myself included.
Man, I would have never looked at it that way, dude, because obviously I don't know what you're talking about, but That's pretty deep, man. I was just thinking Michael Jackson. That's it.
What I'm telling you is,
but you're talking
Kendrick is deep as fuck. He's layered. He's an artist, a real artist. He's brilliant. And what he did was another extension of who he is as an artist. It was brilliant. He's great. It was great. It was very well thought out. It was perfect. I loved it.
Well, there's a lot going on in that halftime. I didn't realize, but
exactly, and that's okay.
But
like,
the game was
a lot of
awesome.
People watch it at a surface level, and you're like, I don't know this song. I don't like it. It's like, okay, cool. That's fine. You don't know the song. You don't like it. I get it.
I wasn't crazy about his
if
jeans,
they played
man.
like if they came out and it was like goddamn, Bon Jovi or some shit, I'd be like,
yeah,
I would go out,
wet, baby.
That's a smoke break for me. I'm not watching
that.
No, I'm out the door. This is what I'm telling you. Like, if you go with the typical Super Bowl artist, a lot of people aren't gonna be staying tuned here. So the people that are already watching a football game, they're down. They're gonna watch Bon Jovi because they're watching football.
Right.
They're all about it. But the people like me that are only there for the halftime show and the commercials are gonna be like, I don't want to watch this. You got to appeal to like the Super Bowl is supposed to be this big TV event that appeals to everybody. It's one of the last TV events that are still successful. If you want to make people watch, it's smart to bring in somebody like Kendrick because you go, well, who is somebody that football fans are going to watch? And then who is somebody that everybody's interested right now? And Kendrick is somebody that everybody's interested in. So
I guess.
Like he's a big deal, in a lot of circles.
Yeah, and you know what?
I
and
think,
I don't take that away from you.
The move was to bring Kendrick there because he's going to appeal to people that aren't going to be watching football. You want to bring in somebody that's going to bring in an audience that you don't have. So you have a bigger audience. Right?
Yeah. To some extent. I mean, I'm there for the game, that's the thing. So, but I see your point, like for sure, like, because it's the biggest show on earth going on, you want to cater to everybody and keep those eyes glued. And I understand that part. But to be honest, like, I thought the show was like, it was good, but it wasn't like as deep as you're saying. I didn't realize all the meaning behind all this stuff, Johnny North says Kanye is getting divorced.
Fake.
Kanye.
He's not.
You'll get the divorce shoes.
I saw that in the
Only
chat. People were like, yeah, he's getting divorced. He's not. It's not true. I've seen those stories. They're not real. It's fake. I don't know. I don't care what TMZ puts out there. It's not real. Unless you heard it from Kanye, it's not real. From my understanding, from the Kanye sources that I've seen, it's bullshit. They said they were getting divorced like 2 months ago. They said this already.
Well, you'll know when they're really divorced. You know how you know when they're really divorced? Is when she's wearing clothes. Other than that, man, they're still together.
Yeah.
That's deep, dude. That's Kendrick Lamar deep.
If you say so. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for staying with us tonight. Leor. Angela. Leor says,
knows more than me.
Leor says about the performance, I didn't love it, but I also realized that the show wasn't for me. I only knew a couple songs. There you go.
Man, he knew a couple of songs more than I did, man. Leor,
I
tip my hat to you.
Yeah, like I knew all the songs, I know them very well.
Oh, Dave, he's coming to Toronto, Antoinette says. You should get out there.
I'm not going to go all the way to Toronto.
What? The way you were talking about, like, Kendrick Lamar, man, I'd figure you'd go anywhere for this guy.
I've seen him before.
Only Toronto, dude.
I've seen him before. You know how expensive tickets are for Kendrick in Toronto? It's crazy. I'm not going all the way to Toronto for a concert.
How much?
I'm good, man. I'm too old for that. I got other priorities, man. I can't be doing that.
I know what. You want to go see the Yankees in Toronto.
Yeah, well, that's it. I can't go to Toronto every time there's something cool that I want to see in Toronto, I got to pick my spots. Otherwise, I'd be, like, living in Toronto half the time, and I'm not doing that.
Listen, you can stay with Antoinette, man. Antoinette, are you okay with Dave staying over?
Look, I'm not comfortable staying over at people's places. I don't like doing it. I wouldn't stay over at your place, AJ. I know you well.
You could,
I'd rather
bud.
stay at a hotel or something. I like hotels. I don't even do Airbnb. I don't want to stay at somebody's home. It's weird. Give me a hotel any day. Toronto is far. Yeah, it's too far, Johnny. You know what I'm saying? I'll go there, maybe once a year for the Yankees. Once a year, once every few years. I haven't been to Toronto in several years. Got no reason to go, really.
Home of the Drake, dude.
Yeah.
Is he still living in Toronto?
Of course. He's on tour right now, though. He's on tour. All right, guys.
Well,
thank you to Angelo, Antoinette, Leor, all the members of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net, join.ringsidereport.net, and membership.ringsidereport.net. I'll be back tomorrow night with Johnny North for Pro Wrestling Talk. Wrestling Uncensored tomorrow night. SmackDown will be live from Washington, D.C. Oh, wait, no. Johnny won't be with me tomorrow night. Wait a second. Johnny will not be with me tomorrow night. Johnny says wrong. Yes, I know I'm wrong. Johnny won't be with me. It'll be the amazing Simon Brothers on a wonderful Valentine's Day episode of Wrestling Uncensored. We will talk to you about the love we have for each other and pro wrestling. Kendrick. Yeah.
It's true. It's Valentine's. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone.
Yes. Happy
Valentine's or
Day.
Times?
Times. N. Really?
Times. That's what I said. I don't want to know at this point.
You know what's a crazy question the other day that somebody asked me? It kind of reminded me of you because I was like, I think AJ would wonder about that. Somebody asked me the other day, is noon 12 or 1?
What?
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Yeah.
Was that like where you were working kind of thing? It kind of would make sense.
No, why would it make sense for anyone to ask that question?
College degrees nowadays are not like...
It's not a child asking me this.
That deep.
This is a legal adult asking me if noon meant 12 or 1. I said 12.
I would have said you're whack, bud. Just stay out of my face.
I couldn't believe the question. I was like, 12. What? It was like I couldn't comprehend
don't worry,
what was
Leor. I just
happening.
answered, man. You're whacked.
Is noon 12 or 1? I was just like, it's 12. It's 12. And he was like, thank you. I was like, you're welcome.
Somewhere in Canada, it's 1.
Excuse me.
You know what I'm saying?
Does noon mean 12 or 1?
You want to get technical.
Anyways, I'll be back.
Is it potato or potato?
At 10 tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern time with my brother. And we'll talk about
22
wrestling.
hours.
Okay? It'll be about wrestling and other things. Definitely some Sopranos quotes in there. We'll be talking about the Sopranos. We always drop Sopranos. What are you going to do? At least you didn't suffer.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I don't think they ever said that in the show.
Didn't they?
The strip club was called the Bada Bing, but I don't think they ever said Bada Bing.
I thought they did. I thought Paulie would say like Bada Bing, Bada Boom. Because I know real
Paulie
like,
may have
gangsters
said Bada Bing, Bada Boom. I could, yeah. Paulie said, "What do you hear? What do you say?" Which I think is really good. To enter a room and say, "What do you hear? What do you say?" You know, just to say that to somebody, that's great. When he comes out of jail, comes into the Bing, what do you hear? What do you say? Oh, man.
The best, man. Paulie Walnuts.
Good. Rest in peace. All right.
Rest in peace.
I'll see you tomorrow right here on the Ringside Report Network.
MJ, number 1.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.